Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCauley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that are made. Deep dives come and lighten up your days. Tool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation.
Hey, Rick.
There he is, Brandon. How are you, sir?
I'm good. On location. Just finished up a meeting. I'm going to be heading the road, but I know you have lots of AI news and information for us. We've got a very special show. It's Mackerels, Moonshots, and missions.
Yeah. We've also got a new kind of format too. We decided that we're NASA, and this is mission control. So we're going to start every episode with our 4 different things, which is news. Then we're going to go into the arts, and then we're going to talk about what's the next one?
Starship.
Mission stars. And then we're going to talk Star Missions. And then we're going to talk about apps. So NASA, that's going to be our thing. So we got a lot to do tonight. So we're going to get started with news in just a second. Is there anything special, Brandon, you want to queue up and talk about? Oh, you're coming right here to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Then we're going down to Miami for another hackathn. We're going to see if we can ace it this time. 1 out of 1.
Yeah, we're going to get the group back together. No, other than that, I think, Gemini, Google is gearing up for their I/O. They're dropping little things left and right. And I know you got a lot of news, and we've got 3. So let's just queue up. We've got 3 segments tonight that after you get done with the news.
Right.
The Mackerels is about a fish app that you vibe coded with some friends over the weekend. And then we've got our Moonshot, which is your abracadabra that we've talked about in this show, but you've really kind of gone deep on that. And then the mission tools is going to be all about Perplexity and Claude and the computer use, which built our newsreel that you're about to see.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started with a couple things I'm going to be putting on top of this. And here's the big reveal with all of this, to be honest with you, is let me hide a couple things and get it ready to go. There we go, and go full screen. All right. So you'll see the Perplexity computer is used to generate these images now. You'll see every one of the news stories as we go through them is actually a PowerPoint deck. This is Perplexity's computer sitting on my computer. So I'm paying $200 a month. So it's kind of expensive, but you could do this for $20 a month. Here's the big change, okay? You had ChatGPT, which is a large language model you talk to. Then we have Cowork. That's what Anthropic calls their version. And you'll see 90% of what I'm doing is done with Cowork. What is Cowork? That means the computer sitting on your computer and able to name and rename all your files to work with anything that you can do on your computer, it can do. And Perplexity, of course, with 20 different engines, which includes Claude's, new Opus 4.7 too, by the way, as the conductor orchestra of Gemini and all the other ones. So the big takeaway is, if you're going to do one thing, learn 3 simple things. Large language model is great, but it has bias. It's a mixture of a bunch of experts in one place. Problem is, it has to orchestrate which one does what. Then we have agents. Agents are a bunch of other little small models that go off and do certain tasks. Nana Banana, if you want to think about it, is an agent that makes images. VO is an agent that makes video. So we now have specialized models that do all kinds of things, like TurboTax to do your taxes. And thank God that's over with this year, right? And so all of that's new is agents are now getting orchestrated. And that's what your Claude bots and your other ones are, and your open Claude, and all those kind of things are basically agents. Now, here's the next one. Teaching skills. So literally Claude is a conductor of an orchestra, and you can have it create a skill. So that means it's hired a first trumpet that's one of the best trumpet players in the world from another orchestra from somewhere else. So you can teach it a skill. You can teach it how to do your job. You could basically teach it how to be a lawyer. Yes, I'm not even joking. You can teach it how to be a tax attorney. You can teach it how to do these skills. So all the large language models are doing right now is they're having real people. In fact, the robots are being trained, guess how? You put an iPhone on your forehead and you fold clothes. And yes, you too can get paid for folding clothes because you're teaching the robots how to do stuff. So now, not only do we have software, forget about software as a service anymore, because you can vibe code your own Photoshop. I mean, that's kind of where we are. We're right on this nexus point where the small language models can do any job that any human being can do. Yes, that's true. Especially true in this case. So here's Anthropics. Just introduced Opus 4.7. This is not the one that you've heard, the glass wing that you've heard about, everybody being scared to death of. That one's a little bit more funky. So that's only being given to the largest corporations in the world and governments that are friendly to the United States. What's it doing? It's found thousands of pieces of code that were broken, even in your browser, even in your bank accounts. Human beings didn't find them, but Claude goes at them and comes up with thousands of them. So right now, Apple, Chase Bank, every major corporation has been gifted Claude, the new Glasswing version of it, specifically to take all of the problems and to shore up the vulnerabilities that could be hacked into. Because it's so good, it's way beyond any human being's ability to do so. It can take any encrypted password that's CIA style, 256 character authentication, blah, 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 and just crack that puppy like a walnut. So they're spending all governments and all these people, and Anthropic has gifted them with access to this in very, very small areas and groups of people who are responsible for basically shoring up all governments and all corporations so that we all don't lose our shit right now, right? Because it would be Terminator time. And they've made it really good. Now, Opus 4.7 is the one they just introduced to us. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker. The news that you need to know about, I realize that you're here because you want to get something to take away. So here's the takeaway from me to you. Number one is use one of three models. Number one, use Gemini. I would suggest $20 a month. You're going to spend your money. Get that. Gemini, as you'll see in just a minute, has come up with this ability to be agents. It is an operating system, an application. If you have Macintosh computer, Google is now an app on its own, which can control your computer, which can rename your files, although I've tried it. Oh, by the way, they've made one that's a large language model that fits and operates on your phone. So if you got some nasty, dirty little secret you need to keep on your phone, or you have all your health records or student records, it literally never leaves your phone. And it's as good as, say, the last version of Gemini. And it's sitting on your phone. So I've run that. It's not fantastic yet. It's not doing Nana Banana style images yet. That's what I'm waiting for. Now, I'm a really active visual learner. And as you can tell, this slide deck is created by Perplexity Computer. That would be my second choice for you to get. Perplexity is a mixture of experts. So it has Gemini. It has Claude Opus 4.7. It has all of them inside. It's using Claude to take, and it has a desktop computer application. That means it can get into the root of your computer. It can actually operate your whole operating system. Anything you can do on a computer, you now have both Gemini and you have Perplexity and you have Claude's Anthropic, all three major models that have on-computer control over everything that you can do on your computer. So you can tell it to go do it, and it just does it. Claude's Anthropic is great if you need coding. So if you're doing a lot of coding, you want to design websites, they're not quite as good. So if you want images, Gemini is the thing. You get Notebook LM. You get the Google Drive, which I highly recommend that be a staple. That's your meat and potatoes guy. Is it as good a writer as Claude is? Heck no. Claude has produced, and I am not joking, master's level thesis documents, 24 pages long. I did 8 of them this week alone. I've got 32 of them that I literally, and I know, and I have 2 master's degrees. I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if I handed these into professors at any university in the United States, they would be cited and ready to go to get me a doctorate degree. So I'm just out there getting a couple of doctorate degrees one after another just for fun, right? So, okay, one more time. Gemini, it's good for everybody. You got the whole ecosystem. It's getting better. It's not the best. You want the best writer in the world? You want the best thinker about your business? Claude. You want a multi-tool? That means all the above. Perplexity is the one. Again, $20 a month is going to get you all 3. They take place on your desktop as an app. They also are in all 3 now in the Chrome browser. So that means Anthropic can take care of your browser or be the computer or be the coder. So Claude's the big one for the elite. If you're a thinker, if you need a master's degree, if you need a doctorate in a couple of minutes, that's your guy to go to, right? All right. So what else is Gemini doing? Now, here's the kind of thing. If you're getting this stuff for free, you are the product. So one of the things they're doing, which could be kind of cool, is they're generating personalized images. So that means you can give it access to. Now, this is super important that you understand. This is a choice. All of the large language models, if you choose to do ChatGPT, which I no longer support at all, I think it's anti-American. I think it's dangerous for America and the world because it's going too fast. It's kind of the flagship thing, and Claude just surpassed it in money and also support from the federal government, everybody else. So it's going to die, I hope, a slow, painful death. But on the other hand, Google is, as you've gotten a free Gmail account and free stuff, whenever you get something free, you are the product. That means it's going to suck your information and use it to make better models. All of YouTube is completely sucked in. That's why Gemini is good at creating videos, because it's trained on all of that property that you gave it, including my TV show right now is being put into Gemini to create the next large language model. So we're creating the information that generates, that makes it what it is. All large language models work that way. However, if you pay for them, all of the 3 that I mentioned have security levels of the utmost type, but they also default to have it on, train on my data. That's the word you're looking for. Go into the preferences. Do not train on my data. Period. End story. All 3 have a health section. Perplexity just amazingly added. So to get back to the Google and the story here is, if it can use your images or you give it access, you say, I want a picture of me on a movie poster with, whatever. Yeah, it can do that. So you give it permission. It has access of every picture you've ever taken. And if you're like me and you have all your pictures backed up, billions of them, into Google Photos, it's really kind of a cool thing to be able to say, hey, I'd like to make a birthday card for my daughter. Her name's Laura. Look her up and then put her in some special kind of situation. Make a montage of all the pictures from when she was a kid, one picture per year. So yeah, now it can actually do that for you. So to me, that'd be really cool. But just beware, just be careful that it has access to everything else. I've got some images on there I don't think I wanted to have access to. So be careful. That's it. Word to the wise. Midjourney launches v8.1, 3 times faster, 2 times X rendering, and 3 times cheaper. Faster, better, cheaper. That's the thing. So that's fantastic. It still is pretty much the standard flagship for creativity, I would suggest. And if you are training it on a style, it's pretty good at keeping that consistent. And it's the most realistic when you get down to the details. So I often still use it, although not as much as I do Nana Banana. And Nana Banana is due for a May update, so stay tuned. Everything Google is going to get bigger, faster, cheaper. So things are about to launch on this rocket ship. All right. So Google DeepMind is doing the most beautiful things. So don't forget, Demis Hassabis is the most important human being on the face of the earth today. Wow. Can't believe I just said that, but I did. And I hope I get to meet him. He not only is solving right now Alzheimer's, diabetes, everything, right? And he is running Google's efforts to do all of this, to do for mankind, as we hope the machine of loving grace, Anthropic's idea, is also doing. So those are the two that I support the most. Perplexity is kind of a third place as far as the philosophical part of this game.
Hey,
But
Rick,
what are they? Yeah.
hey, I just want to keep you honest on time here, as I know we got a lot of stuff to cover, and people are
All
waiting
right. So
for
really
their,
get
their
onto it.
fish,
All
their
right.
filet o fish.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just want to keep you
Okay.
honest on time.
All right. So the robotics are now getting eyeballs so they can see gauges and things like that. The same with Boston Dynamics is using Google's Gemini for their new robotic system. That means the large language models are being put inside the machines that are being the robots. That's the big next thing, right? Robot in every home. Those are happening right away. All of this will be by the end of the year. Quantum calibration to get quantum to work, which is 1 billion times increase in all the things that you just heard about. Is getting rid of the calibration error correction is the thing. Now we're getting really close to the point where we're going to have that quantum leap. Weird story. Zuckerberg now has a clone he's building, so he can let Zuck clone, and he is a clone to start with, and he's an asshole too. So I'll just leave that at that. Anti-AI, yes. People threw a man threw a Molotov cocktail at OpenAI's Sam Altman's house. He and his husband and child were at home. Nobody was hurt. But then the guy went and threw a chair into the building. He's on trial for attempted murder. Adobe is now partnered with Anthropic to bring Firefly's agentic AI assistant to Claude. So that means you can go into and prompt Adobe Photoshop, all the Firefly models, everything using Anthropic's incredible language model built in. So stay tuned. So Adobe has already made, it's a content authenticity initiative. As a content, as an Adobe community expert, I've been briefed on some things, but I can announce already, and it's in beta already, you're prompting with Insight, and you can use AI assistant Claude to help you to do and make better prompts. Wow, this is big. And you can prompt to make this picture have a yellow tint and make it ready for this, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, all the Adobe products are going to have built in not only Firefly, which you can use right in all the Adobe products today, and VO, and a bunch of other models. Now you've got Anthropic showing up at Adobe's door because Adobe wants to work with everybody. All right, so what's the other big story? The entire internet's being duplicated for agents to go faster and do everything faster. So by the end of the year, all right, so here's a quick one. This is to our friend Chris Vallone. Right now, at the regular meetup that he does, he's screening his new movie. It's called One Man's Land. I'm sorry. Private screening tonight, and that's let's take a look. Take a look at the detail of this. There you go. That's what he's showing off tonight. He's going to be hopefully with us to produce the entire show and show what he did and how he got there. So I've been working with him for a while in the back. He has his regular meeting right now, so it kind of interfered with me being here. So we're going to be doing that later. All right. So going right along, I'm going to do a quick little preview. I'm going to walk you through very, very fast because I know I do have some time. 10 minutes to do this. So this is using Notebook LM. This is the movie you're going to see tonight, Abracadabra. Here is Manus. So the first tool I'm going to show you, this is Manus. It is an active rendering agent. So what you do is tell it to go do stuff. You see all these images? It created every single one of them in under 35 minutes. Then it put it together into what is a video that you're about to watch. And it created the person's voice, did the voiceover, and edited this. So here you go.
In a world where the future feels uncertain and the challenges seem insurmountable, a generation of children is waiting for a hero who looks like them. But they won't just find a hero, they will become the heroes. Abracadabra does not mean magic. In ancient Aramaic, it means, I create as I speak. Words do not describe reality, they create it. Meet Kavi Vak, the spoken poet, a boy from Varanasi, India, who discovers the compendium of unfinished beings, a book of creatures waiting to be spoken into existence.
Hey Rick, this stuff is awesome. I think this might be in our package for later.
Okay. So I wanted to show you what that was and how it got created, and then I'm going to go over to
Notebook
Grok.
LM, Notebook LM, by the way, they have announced that you're going to be able to do custom titles and banners for your notebooks now for public
Yep,
preview.
already. I'm going right there right now. Okay, next one. Grok Video. There's some sound. Okay, Grok Video. Here we go. So this is how I created the rest of the stuff you're going to see. I'm going to be showing you Life Force One. My students and I are working on a commercial that we just did. Here is the stuff from The Greatest Show on Earth that I'm working on. So everything that I do goes through Grok for video at the moment, as it's so darn quick. So here is a song. I've been using Suno, so I'm going to show you Suno, Grok, Manus, all three. So the next 3 videos you're going to see, 30 minutes each, are going to be showing all these tools. What I'm showing you here, this is my Life Force One. This is the device with all your knowledge about who you are and everything. Here's just a clip of the radio commercial we're doing for the Super Bowl.
Yellow on the horizon, promise of another day. Every heartbeat, every breath is life force on the way. Your DNA is speaking, your body knows the truth. Every step you take is data, every meal is proof. Your watch knows what you're doing, your heart knows what you need. Your life meter is rising, plant the longevity seed. Got your family in the system, got your cat and got your dog. Every sunrise is a signal, time to lift the fog. Got life, live it, got time, live it, got a dream, go and live it, got peace, live.
Oops, sorry. So it's got live it, got time, got and then here's the Boston Marathon. This is an 80-year-old woman, and there was an 83-year-old woman that won the senior Boston Marathon. So this is using Grok. That's our logo.
No rules. It says the dog can't be in a marathon.
He came out on afterwards.
Got life, live it.
I'm back
So
up a little bit. Did you say Super Bowl commercial? Did I hear that correctly, Rick?
Yes, this is a Super Bowl commercial. We're doing a 90-second Super Bowl. What I'm showing you are the pieces right now. So that song will play for 90 seconds. It's timed out. And what that is spoken word that I did in Claude. Then I went to Suno and then prompted it to then take the spoken word and give a prompt, which is that rousing speech that you heard, right? All right. So the first part is
I
got life.
must say, Rick, you are a real man of genius.
There you go. Thank you very much. All right, we'll keep going because I got to get there, right? And I'm still far off. So here's their granddaughter trying out for the Olympics. And that music will be in the background. All right, so so there's 4 other pieces to this, and basically it's gonna be a 90-second commercial. We'll be premiering it here, an original song, and then we've got one. The high parts is there's a second chorus and everything, but it's literally an entire commercial that we're creating in class as part of our whole thing. We're also doing TV, print, advertising. We've got all the products 3D printed. So we'll be showing you what we've done at the end of the semester, which ends May 5th. So right after that, we'll show it. So here's the Notebook LM. You now have the ability to go in there and custom make an image for each one of your notebooks. So each one of these, as you can see, there's a lot of diversity because, man, I'm just getting good as hell at this. I just can't even, right? So this is what I did for my Upskill USA. So in the style of, the propaganda posters of the United States. So I'm going to go through real quick. Here's what I'm basically telling my people. It's the AI, the GI Bill for the AI age. So there's the visualization so they can understand that City Hall, Chambers of Commerce, and community colleges are going to work together to really make America great again. We're going to use arming the educators as change agents in America. And we're going to have 2 different rooms, one for the boardroom, for the capital investors, for the companies themselves, and all their employers are going to be right across the hall. In the last 2 hours, we get together and we solve the problem. So we never, ever single out and eliminate human beings from the workforce. We upskill them to make them more powerful, more profitable, more equitable, more fair. So we get a fair America with a burgeoning middle class, just like we did as creating the greatest generation of America. And this is it. This is how I convinced them and all the chambers of commerce to do this and what it takes to do it. The intervention, the shift in the mindset from becoming a long-haul truck driver to an autonomous fleet operations manager, a warehouse picker, a robotics maintenance worker, a call center, a high IQ escalation specialist, a junior coder, an AI systems orchestrator. So this is what it takes: healthcare, care and healthcare, education, safety and infrastructure, production and trades. Look how beautiful this is. There's not a misspelling in this, and it's absolute genius. Yes, I'll take that. And I've done this already. That's not me, obviously, but in Coral Springs, Coconut Grove, and Coconut Creek. I'm also doing it in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and all over the United States of America. So stay tuned. The vanguard is to do this. The action is to do it everywhere in the United States. And the proof is I've already done it, been there. Now let's roll it out to America. And what's this going to mean? Instead of mass layoffs and the worst possible thing, strategic AI adoption, preemptive incumbent retainment, amplified human agency, and a shared productivity to rebuild the middle class of the United States. So get with me. Launch the vanguard, the mobilization order for America to be truly great again, not the bullshit that Trump guy seems to claim that we're going to do. All right. So here's just a quick little thing. This is my computer setup. Here's a video.
Your health, your family, your soul, but look at the elephants. Look at the acrobats. Look at the clown.
So you're zooming in on watching it
George
taking
Carlin
control
stood in
of
the
my
front row
computer.
the circus for 50 years and told us exactly what was happening. He said they own you. The politicians, the corporations, the media companies, they own the tent and the bleachers and the sawdust and the spotlight.
So you can see there's a spoken word, no guitar, only the man's voice, no other sound, soft circus music quiet in the background. So basically, I created with Claude all the scripts for 14 different songs that were spoken word. This is the narrator's voice for the entire 1.5 hour long video that's going to be called The Greatest Show on Earth. That's the part talking about George Carlin talking about it. So it took, Comet, the browser, took that file and I said, go over to Suno, make all of those, pick the best one. You see the number 01, 02, pick the best of each 2, put it into a folder called The Greatest Show on Earth. And then I came back 2 hours later and it was done generating all that music, which is actually the audio overview. That's the big unlock. I didn't think about Suno for making anything but songs. Oh, damn, if it's not like the most beautiful thing on earth. So that's the big secret unlock. That's my gift to you today, amongst many, many others. And you're going to see. So I'm not just telling you about it. I'm showing you what you actually do. That's real power. So like and subscribe, baby. This is the time. So this is what you get. And you can see all my projects. I've got 18 big projects. Here's my Claude, my Grok book, my trilogy of books. And what you see here is I said, Claude, go use Cowork. And I gave it a folder. It's called Claude_Project Grok. Organize its structure. There were 4,000 documents. This is the order it put it in. Then it made 4 documents, which are a master list of what to do next. It broke down who are all the people. So this is one of the things about the book is the first book is about what Donald Trump does in his presidency today and going back. It fact-checked every single last thing. When did he say it? September 10th, 2024. He talks about they're eating your cats and dogs. And then that's in my book in chapter 2, Colossus Distraction. So I had to line up the real world with my grok world that I've created my fictional story. And it did that. And it did it for all of the history. And then it generated 74 pages of fact checking for just my first book. And then it put it all into a sequential thing and then showed me how I could, the pitch deck and everything is done. And it's in the process right now of writing all of the books together, giving my instruction. I meet with it every once in a while. And then I go over to Manus and I put all of that in. And then I say, make me a character sheet for Rick Delgado. He was a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer, photographed these kids, got a Purple Heart, blah, blah, blah. And then there's all the characters. It did all that for me. So that's basically what we're doing. So I think we're now ready to go over to, oh my God, but bring up the Mackerels, right? So I think I can go ahead and start the stage.
Yeah. So just set this up a little bit. Who? Because the way I've edited this together, we've only got you talking about starting with the fish finder and building this, but we don't have the context as far as what brought you to the fishing pond to begin with.
So if you've heard me talking about diving with whale sharks, and I watched a scientist do a sonogram on a whale shark, and then we tagged a bunch of manta rays. This is in Socorro, just south of Mexico, in the middle of no freaking where, is the superhighway that goes from the North Pole to the South Pole. It's where all whale sharks and all these animals go, right? Most spectacular place on Earth. Well, on the trip was my friend Mary. So Mary, you'll see in this video, just kind of overview. She is one of thousands, about 5,000 people who go dive. Every time they dive, they take a sheet and they count how many fish there are, what variety, what size the schools are, and they upload to a website. At the same time, I took the belly shots of 22 ocean mantas. These are 20 feet wide, giant flying mantas. Filter feeders, just the most magnificent, graceful creatures on the planet. I upload the belly shot. That's an ID that's only unique to each individual animal that gets uploaded if it doesn't exist already in their database. And if nobody's followed it, you get to name it. We got to name on that trip. We saw 22 belly shots. We named 12 of them with our own names that we got to choose. And now everybody who ever photographs that animal again, anywhere in the oceans, is going to be able to identify and match it up with that animal. And you see where they're pin mapped all over the world. Same with the whale shark. You photograph the right or left side, and that's unique to that animal. Bada bing, bada bing. So I thought, there's all these people counting. There's all these people going down there. What if I could create a website? And here's what I want to do and am doing. And then I got to meet with Denise Hidzig, who I talked about before, 40 years studying dolphins and talking to them. Oh my God. If you haven't seen the episode, stay tuned because I'm about to work with her in person. I met her at a conference along with other people who were trying to talk to animals. And we're now talking to whales, and we have cracked the code, baby. We're right there. We're talking to animals. We're Dr. Frickin' Doolittle. Okay. So just to set that up. Yeah. So here's what I vibe coded with her in just an afternoon, and it's better than this now.
But I will tell you, before we hit play on this, there's a Kickstarter campaign called Petite Chat that allows you to purportedly chat with your cat. I would not recommend supporting this Kickstarter.
No. But if you want to help me change the world, so I'm going to get all the scientists together. This is just the beginning of what's going to be called Ocean Org. This is everybody who wants to help us, real scientists, do real science, like counting fish and doing the kind of things that Mary's been doing all of her life, along with all the people. This is one location for a cornerstone to start to share that information and aggregate it and use AI for absolute the most beautiful things you can. So here we go.
Hey, welkom bij een nieuw Visdeurbeljournaal. Ik hoop dat je een fijne week hebt gehad. Tijd om het weekend in te gaan. Tijd voor een nieuw journaal. And welcome to you watching from outside the Netherlands. I hope you had a great week. It is time to enjoy the weekend, so sit down, relax, and enjoy a new Fish Doorbell news report.
Okay, so here's the best of the season. Yeah, their water's not so clear. Of course, this is a dock, so I mean, so that's kind of cool. So that's kind of neat. Let's see if we can find some other ones. I'm gonna put up the thing here. So find any other ones, Dr. Claire. In fact, what I'm gonna do right now is gonna show you my superpower. So 2 applications I highly recommend. Number 1 is Claude. Number 2 is Perplexity. Let me show you why Perplexity. So I'm working in what looks like a Chrome browser, right? So I'm going to go over here to the right. You see where it says Assistant? This is Perplexity. Okay. So I'm going to start talking to it real quickly here. I'm going to ask it. My friend is really into counting fish, and she belongs to a society that counts 300,000 divers go out with their GoPros. I'm interested in finding, and then she creates a database that counts the fish, the aggregation, the population, and they report this to a database that's shared. She wants to turn this into very useful information and thinks, what other ways? Give me 10 different locations where we can aggregate data. What if GoPro were allow you access to review photographs with their GPS locations intact to aggregate and count fish without even having to dive? I'm on a website right now called VisDurable, which counts the number of fish at a lock in the Netherlands so they can be the lock, try to unlock the door, basically unlock each one of the panels as the boat's going through so the fish get a chance to get through as well. We want to find out ways that we can empower by using all the sophisticated technology we have today to aggregate. Is there a website? Give me the links to all of these just as URLs. And a description next to it. But I want all the URLs after each of the descriptions of the things that you find. What I'm looking for is a list of the top 10 ways that we might be able to count fish, GPS locate them, then feed them into a database that then is aggregated and used. Oh, come on, don't stop now. That is for citizen scientists to help undersea creatures be empowered. Okay, so this is Perplexity. Now I could use it, aggregated fish data, say between Florida and Indonesian, think data, fish data.
Okay. What she's talking about.
Okay. I'm going to start a new task. So this is the number of credits that I have here. So I'm paying, I got 45,000 credits, and all those projects, and there's 10 others in here, by the way, that are just amazing. Only used a quarter of that. I get 10,000 a month. It's enough to do this project and a bunch more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, or you can pay as you go. So we're talking life-changing things for basically $60. See you, Claire. Thank you so much. So if I come in here and I say, I want to create a new task, a new task, there we go, for my computer. Is a beautifully designed modern web experience with real-time data visualization, community features, and a much stronger visual identity. Let me break this down and get a few things clarified before I start building. What's the primary field that you want? Do we want ocean immersive, blended, or both? Modern data platform? Well, let's see what it does with this. So not only did I answer the questions, this is a bold, ambitious vision. Kill the homepage, drop users straight into the action. And we use Google Earth as the portal into reef exploration. I love the concept of flying from space down to a dive site and then swimming through it. Let me study the technical landscape and build this out. Holy shit. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I'm shaking right now because this is happening. This is really, really happening. Oh my God. And here's Explore. Oh my God, is this actually working? It's a little bit dark. Oh, in coral bleaching, invasive species, rare species, disease outbreak, others. Okay. add the stage. Let me go ahead and can y'all hear me speaking? Cutting in and out. Okay. Wonder what I can do to get a better sound. Let me reintroduce this to the stage real quickly. In fact, let me take this off the stage. And let me add this one more time. Database. Oh, this is where it's getting it from. Oh no, this is our own thing here. Okay. Okay. So there's the community contributions, report sightings, analyze map. Okay. So what we would need to add here is actual connectors to real-time data. And then the community, how do I join Reef and start surveying? Let's see if I can actually, there's 47. So it's a mock-up pretty much right now. Here's getting started for beginner friendly. So you can, oh, categories. There we go. Getting started. Where help is needed. Ideas and amplification. Oh my. So the code part of this is basically to come in here to see this is just so it's just doing what you want to do, which is to get this thing actually be a real thing and to go around and find missions around the world where we can fix stuff. And imagine that you are Kavivaka. I am Rick McCauley, born of service to the world to make it a more beautiful place. And every time I am called to duty, I will show up. Showing up is all we need to do with a full heart full of love for all we've been gifted in our lifetime and the desire to make it even better for everyone on planet Earth, including all the creatures great and small. So I thank you for participating in imagining a world as John Lennon did. Now you know you're not the only one, as John Lennon said. And as Steve Jobs said, the crazy ones, here's to the crazy ones, the square pegs in the round holes, who didn't know they couldn't change the world. Those are the ones who do. And I'm going to fill my screen. There we are. This is Notebook LM, as you can see. So I'm going to start over here in Perplexity Computer. So this is Perplexity. If you're not hack. So you have now control of your computer. And you also have control over, I wanted to keep it full screen, Brandon, so I could get there. So next, I'm going to show you basically when I then showed you I can do it on both platforms. I'm now going to show you what I did with the latest update to my Upskill USA program. And this is the jobs market map that I created on my computer. Here we go. And it has 23 different large language models, including the top brands that you know of. ChatGPT is one of them, and et cetera, under its orchestration. That means it is the conductor of an orchestra of the best large language models in the world, and it has root level, if you give it, control over your own personal computer. Okay, so now what happened here, which is really interesting, and Brandon, maybe you might want to comment on this. My upskillusa.rickmacaulay. So I wanted to have this app, which basically tells you how resistant to AI is your job. If you're in a call center, you're dead. So this is Andrew Kaprathi's hack that he made, basically tying into the labor market statistics. And it basically cloned what he did, which is genius. And it tells you if you're in these jobs, here's your risk assessment, right? So what it's doing here is it's saying, I want to have this, which it put into a GitHub, set upskillusa, rickmacaulay.com, which you can go there right now, by the way. Brandon, can you type that into our a share? You can go there right now and check this out. So you're going to be able to look at the app that I created. So then it took the GitHub and it says, as a custom domain committed, let's CNAME it, file it to the repository. I don't know what that means, but in Wix, it has a connection from Perplexity to Wix. That's where all my websites are stored, right? You have to put in Perplexity. Upskillusa.rickmacaulay.com. So upskillusa.rickmacaulay.com. Okay. If you do that, so it said if you put it inside of Wix, Wix doesn't have the complexity to be able to run this application on it. So you put it into the GitHub, and then it will make a name server in my Wix so that, and it's going to propagate it. So it did all of that. So the GitHub is provisioning a free SSL certificate for the custom domain. This takes about 5 to 15 minutes. Once it's ready, the site will automatically serve up on HTTPS //upskillusa, rickmacaulay.com. Until then, the HTTP version still works perfectly, so I can share it with anybody that I want to. Okay, so now you go do that, right? So I'm going to show you what it did. All right, so it did that, and then here's what we got. So what this is, it's a job markets report, and the numbers are 1 through 10. 10 means you lost your job, buddy, a long time ago. 1 means you're totally safe. There ain't many ones, okay? While you're on the website, please go link on it because it'd be kind of cool to see what you guys think. There is at the top, and I'm going to walk through this kind of quickly. So here is your computer information systems manager, 7 out of 10. It tells you how many jobs there are, 667. So this is the Department of Labor Statistics. This is the U.S. government's numbers for 347 jobs. And here is the assessment of how vulnerable you are to AI working here. If you can mute your thing, I think, Brandon. Oh, you are muted. Okay. Somehow I'm okay. And then it goes on. So you can look at any job that is the 347 ways that it does it. My goal is to get every job in there in a database. So it has 5 other databases, including here's your so if you walk through, and this is the thing that you should do at the very top of it. I can't let's see if I can show you what, and this is what it's tied to. There's the Occupational Outlook Handbook right there. It shows you all the information about it, including a video about what your vulnerabilities are. And so it has the assessment there. And so then you take a test. There's 4 different tests. The first one, high school student. What do you want to do for a living? Let's find your Ikigai. I call it the Ikigai test. Why? Because what are you purpose born to be and to do? High school students are going to love this. And then it does an assessment, what you need to do about that. So it asks you like 8 or 9 questions. You then say, oh, I want to be a lawyer. Oh, well, what kind of lawyer is what I want to be able to do? I want to be able to tell you, if you want to do a public servants law, here are 5 jobs. And then you put them next to each other. and then it goes through an assessment process. So you go from finding your job, your ikigai, to actually resources. So it's also going to ONET, which is a lot of occupation. I think there's 250, it's 2 million jobs, I think, there in ONET. So here's your test, right? The Career Explorer, high school, college, you just graduated with a law degree. Which part of law should you study? Which one is going to be AI assisted and how? You take that test, and it's going to basically give you what to do next. So basically, it's a career finder for high school students. It's a career delineation and accessibility to what tools and how you can use AI to further your career. Then somebody lost their job, the displaced worker. That's number 3. This is going to be built out a lot deeper, but go ahead and take the test because it actually works, right? It doesn't go, it only is going to 345 jobs down here. What I want to do is get to the deeper thing, which is the well of all jobs. So you literally could apply or at least get in the process of preparing for application to any job the way that LinkedIn is doing. In fact, I had a big, long conversation with Claude because it said, you know why this isn't going to work, buddy? This is Claude talking to me, right? Because that's how I talk to Claude. You know why it's not going to work, buddy? Is because there are so many companies that make so much money on finding you jobs, LinkedIn and everybody else, that they're not going to let you just go find the job and apply because that would be insane. Plus, they don't want everybody applying. So there's some bottlenecks. Anyway, I've got a whole paper on that. But I do think that it's fantastic to know you just got a law degree and you want to specialize in something. How can I use AI to help me? So Upskill USA, which is what this is going to be a permanent website. And I'm doing it for 9 moonshots, what we're now calling star missions, North Star missions. And so then you have Upskill. So it will identify what your job is currently, tell you what to do next to prepare for what's going to happen in the next year. The great repurposing, as Kyle Shannon would suggest, is kind of here. So this is something I did in an afternoon. And then this has a whole tracker and a news tracker. If you look in the top right, if you go to the website and click on it right now, you'll see across the top is a crawl and a plus sign. You click on the plus sign and it actually opens up to the current news. These are the jobs, and I'm trying to get a real-time tracker to show you who laid off who, and this would be the news of all those headlines for those industries. So where are the 2030 supposedly has 92 million jobs going to come online. Right now, though, we're going at a much faster pace than what we were supposed to be. So I'm going to keep on going over here a little bit. So I'm showing you on my phone. Yeah.
Hey, Rick, just a quick move of housekeeping. Use the full screen layout opposed to pulling yourself off stage because we can't hear you when you're not on stage.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Full screen.
I leave you alone with the controls for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. You had one job. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and redo the whole thing, right? All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. Now, yeah. See, that's why I need you, Brandon. It's like, AI is not going to replace you. You got no worries. So I can go there and I can deep think. So I have a tendency to get on my phone, do one thing, and then go over and do another. And let's get some stuff off your list. So here is Claude and doing my Grok project. So now we're going to move to the next tool. So that's Perplexity Computer. Everybody cool with that? Now, here we go. Let's move on over to Claude. So Claude has 3 different modes. 1, chat, just like every other one. 2, co-work. Guess what we can do? We can connect to our Drive, our Google Drive, Figma, to create actual applications that it will code the back end for and put it in the Apple Store for you. Holy crap. All right. Wix, Claude can in Chrome control your Macintosh completely, etc., etc. And they just added health. Now, if you've heard me talk about Life Force One and that commercial that I'm doing for the Super Bowl, which is going to win the Perplexity $1 billion award. So Perplexity has a challenge right now. Forget about Lovable. They want to be the cause of the first company to evaluate at $1 million. So they have a challenge out. Whoever can create a company to get to $1 million valuation based on a handful of people, meaning 5 or less. So, Brandon, this is our next hack, buddy. I think it's Life Force One's the thing. And here's the thing. In Claude, you have connectors to a bunch of things you can see here. Perplexity's connectors, and you can add plugins. You can now add skills. That's the really unlock for all of these applications. So again, what's a skill? I need a doctor. I need a surgeon, quality person. I need a social media manager. You just install a social media manager, and that means somebody created an application, a .md file, which is a markdown language, which is basically it's AI speak for the fastest way it can communicate and get shit done. So then you put that under control of Conductor, Maestro, Claude, and you've launched the project. All right, so getting back to what Cowork is what I'm going to show you here. As I showed you earlier, I've got this book called Grok. It is 5,000 documents, and it's going to organize and structure this entire thing, as you'll kind of see here in a second. So then I said, well, go out there, and I want to connect to Figma. I want to connect to Notebook LM. Someone's now made a plugin to Notebook LM. Oh my God, I am in heaven, right? And so then you can go in there and you can say, make all these adjustments. So here's all the stuff it can do in Figma. So with inside Figma, which is the application I use for creating applications for your phones and your desktops and everywhere else, now can have all of these plugs in turned on, and you can give it the connector permissions to then go do these things. So it does it without asking you every 5 minutes. That's a new unlock for Claude, because it would literally bing your phone, and you could talk to it through Telegram or through any of the applications you communicate. So you just, it just pops up like an email and says, can I do this? Is that okay, master? Yes, go do it. Abracadabra. Go for it, buddy. All right. And you just say go, and it does it, right? Your Google Calendar, your emails, your everything you want every day. So connect to Canvas, which is your, and also the Adobe products, which is now coming out. So literally it's connecting to everything at the root level, at the level where it can control and lay out inside InDesign a full layout production. I set up the guidelines for color palette, etc. Or I just tell it to set up the color and the aesthetics that look like this website or this book that I'd like it to look like. And then it just goes and does the darn thing, right? So get ready to dispatch. So I'm giving it access to my files. I'm keeping this computer awake. Claude is ready to use Chrome. So it can go to Chrome, bop around through all your browser windows, open or close, open them up, take control of your CLI, I guess it is, Brandon. I forget what you called that. And then it goes in and it starts to do stuff. So there's my folder. There's my Life Force thing. And this is what it did. You saw this earlier, right? There's my book, Grok. And then it took that and it archived. So there's duplicates of files. It's renamed and created all these folders for it. So just today, Google got this ability on your Google Drive. However, Claude had it already. Claude can go in your Google Drive where I have 90,000 documents. I have 4 terabytes of stuff, and I'm going to put it one folder at a time. Basically, you see all of these up here that I did. So here's my big projects, and here's my music. So it's going to be doing all of these things by looking at them, organizing them, and then these are documents it created for me of the Bible for the character Bible, real events timeline, the master roadmap to what I have to do to complete the document, and then it put old versions, new versions, and then feed it over to Manus. There's all my master documents. So there's, I forget how many there are in this folder, but there's a lot. Right? And it's just going to take over and take control. And so here's one of the documents. So take a look at this. So this is my character Bible. So I had 136 mentions of, I changed it, Lisa Monroe to Laura Monroe. That's the main character. It's the journalist at the head of the Master Trilogy. Well, my ex-wife said, you can use Lisa, and I'm using Rick Delgado. I'm using Rick Delgado and Lisa Monroe. Those are my 2 characters. So I was using my daughter, Laura, and it felt kind of creepy because there's a 9th chapter that's kind of sexy and actually is from my real life, right? And so Lisa said, okay. So It went through and rechanged every one of them in 3,000 documents, and then created a new bio. So here is Rick Delgado's profile. So this is a writer's dream. It did this in 2 hours with 5,000 documents that were not organized, and all the duplicates have been put away. And then it says what language he's fluent, Spanish and English. And then I realized, he's going to go underground, and his character is going to have to look like a white guy. So how do I make him a white guy if he's got 2 Cuban parents? That didn't work out. So I decided to make his mother Irish-American, Mary Flanagan Delgado from Chicago, a Cuban-born father, Edward Delgado. So it rewrote everything and then gave me a brand new, clean, crisp set of facts to base it on. Holy cow. So this, how many hours this would take? And then I have so Rick Delgado goes underground. I decided, this ICE event is just too perfect to have happen, right? So Rick Delgado goes underground working for Donald Trump through the Patriot Underground. So all the people that were pardoned in the Patriot, the people that's, January 6th people that got pardoned by him at the beginning of his presidency now get hired by ICE and went in, and they're the ones that killed Renee Good. Now, he was in charge of another group, and the idea was make all these deconstructed things. So like take away from the Epstein files. And so my backstory is based upon all real stories. And I try to make it sound incredibly plausible down to the details like this. But now what a spectacular story hook I have. So he goes underground as a journalist and feeling horrible about it. He lets the FBI know about it. So he's recording everything. So it ends up ending the presidency of Donald Trump at the end of the book. Spoiler alert, you can watch that video. Go look at my Grok video and it shows off all that. So now I've got a real story and I've got a real how-to he got in that position. And I've got it justified and verified by facts that actually happened. So I'm having it go down to street level. So the conversations. So where the start in the whole trilogy throughout all 3 books, what he does. He's in his 50s. And then this is all documents that it created. So here's the editorial roadmap for Simon & Schuster submission editorial review, April 2026. It created this. And this beautiful, even the way that it illustrated. I'm not going to show too much because this is, it's partially copyrighted, but not completely yet. But there's the full 30 chapters, what I've got to do. So it's got all of them done, and it's got a checklist of what I've got to do to get done. And there it is. That's what it created for me. And there's the roadmap to the end. Holy crap. I mean, this is just nuts. And it tells me what I got to do. So I got an outline here, a bulletproof outline exists, needful prose. So it went into detail as to actually individual things. So here's quotes. There's a quote at the beginning of every chapter, and then philosophical pillars of information. So it's cross-referencing like 17 different ways from Sunday. Every chapter is fact-checked and backed up. So that it's an absolute perfect alignment. If you haven't seen the movie, The Hail Mary Project, go see it today. Then go watch Neil deGrasse Tyson talk to the author, who also wrote The Martian, by the way, because this is exactly what he does. He looks at the facts and what the temperature be, how would a rock creature be created. Oh my God, it's a fantastic movie. The best movie of the year. Actually, should win an Academy Award. It's both incredibly moving, fundamentally human. It's just a movie that Rick McCauley, the Dangerous Man, and Rick McCauley, the AI guy, both highly recommend. It's the #1 movie you got to see this year, and you're going to feel good about it. Also a little deep, perhaps a little worried, but if we're not that, we aren't alive. So it talks about the editorial decisions, where I am, what I need to change about it, and so that's basically the fall of the American Empire. And there you go. Let me just play the last bit of this. I can forget what I said. Written and needs some line editing, needs consistency review. So even Simon & Schuster doesn't do this good of a job. And it did it in 1 hour because I just pointed to the folder and said, act as my publisher and do the following things. So, boy. And then it made a primer to hand to media podcasts and what to do. I mean, I'm just beside myself. Yeah, so when I come out with the book, it's already got the primer and the talking points when I go on NBC, CBS, and CNN, right? So it's already thinking about, how much should I? It'll write up my contract for me. It'll do my taxes when I make $10 million next year. Yeah, it's all like, how many people it would take to do this? This is unconscionably impossible. There's just no freaking way that any other way you could do it. So let's go to the third one, as if this wasn't enough, right? I'm kind of like, okay, which one are we on? We got Mission Tools and now Moonshots. Is that the last one, Brandon? What happens to the truck driver that worked for 40 years? He's 60 years old, and he makes an average salary of 55,000. Well, actually, yeah. Okay.
So this is a lot to take in.
Yeah. That's why we got to chop this up even more, probably. Oh my God, right?
Yes. So
I could stop right now because I think I'm toast. This is incredible. My mind is blown all week, and I haven't even told you about the 12 other projects I'm working on simultaneously.
Yes. So just to tee up here, because this last segment is a continuation of what we've been talking about. So this is this episode's turning into moonshots and more moonshots, which is
well,
great.
It's kind of it's kind of artsy and fartsy and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I'm wondering if I should skip past the Upskill USA, which is pretty cool. Oh, let me start with Hello USA. There we go. Let's go here. I think we'll start with Hello USA.
Yes.
Right after. So you saw a little bit about Upskill
for those
USA.
of you keeping score at home, we had a plan when we started this show. I'm not sure what happened to that plan, but this last one's really good because it's going to talk about the rest of Rick's moonshots, including Hello USA, but it's also going to touch on Abracadabra, which is really fantastic. So
thank you.
We're going to encourage Rick to let this play through in its entirety, and we'll catch you on the other side in about 20 minutes.
Thanks, Val, for laughing because I need a good laugh. Yeah. Hello USA. This is the app that we vibe coded together, and this is a real app too that gets people into citizenship. It's a pathway to citizenship that makes citizenship acquisition for any able-bodied and positive to the American economy person who wants to get here to have a tutor, AI tutor 24/7. So it's as easy as ordering a pizza, and you can follow transparently where you are in the supply chain, from getting your legal rights to getting your paperwork to learning your civics lessons, learning English, securing a job, a sponsor match, and required documentation. This is your pathway to citizenship. Doesn't that look as easy as a pizza? Yes. And then prepare for your oath of ceremony, because it trains you on English until you get to proficiency you need to do. Here's your progress bar. So, if I could do that with a couple of my friends, and I'm going to show you the friends, because this is the journey right here. This is what we did. We vibe coded this. This is all Nana Banana making this is 6 months ago when I did this. Okay, so there's the app and what it looks like. And guess what the large language model inside of this app is, or small language model? Liberty, because that's who you should talk to if you want to get in the country. And then, here's a community of people going back and forth. And then here's your biometrics to citizenship. And if you have your paperwork on you, ICE can't stop you because you unlock it with your Face ID and say, hey, look here. Or it actually warns ICE agents, don't approach this person. They are legal people on their way to citizenship. They're good people doing good stuff. Get off. Calls a lawsuit. So we created it. Rescue Connect. This is for all kinds of situations, before, during, and after. Anyway, I'm not going to go on with all my projects, but so just.
Hola, soy Rescate Randy. Ya contacté a Allstate. Tu reclamo está en proceso. Un Uber con espacio para tu perro en un transportador llegará en 20 minutos. Tu casa estará completamente restaurada en un mes y ya se organizó un lugar donde vivir. Allstate te informará cada paso. Estás seguro, apoyado y en camino a la recuperación.
That was done with ChatGPT last August. No, last May. Yeah, I did that with Hedra, and we just created this little animal here, this character, this blue face. So it's not ethnicity bound. And it's just got a Red Cross hat on board, and we're going to make the little red thing, and all the stuff is natural. So this can be hooked up, and that's what a chatbot looks like. Liberty's going to look like that, and so are the other ones. Of course, probably a little bit smaller unless you want to talk to a face, because that's more engaging.
Hey, it's Rescue Randy. You've done great so far. Just a few final steps. Upload your important documents to the cloud. Pack for your pet with papers and medications. Prepare your go bag and plan for shelter. Hurricane Andy is 2 days away. Category 4, possibly 5. Coral Gables High is your shelter. I'll share the link. Evacuate by Monday, 8 a.m.
Holy cow. I mean, that's it, right? So this is the story of Sarah, who I photographed her home. She passed away because the shelter refused her because she had a cat. She went home and died. I don't want that to happen to any human being ever again. But Rescue Randy has already taken her on a virtual tour of the place. She already knows who the nurse is going to be. She knows that if she brings her paperwork, which she's already put in the cloud, that they already know, and they're going to be greeting her. She's going to be picked up. She's going to know who she's picking her up. Her son could be in Boston and then be on the phone with her as Rescue Randy walks her through the steps. This is Jose and Andre, and they're coming to pick you up in a van that's equipped for your wheelchair, and they have your medication in hand. They know about your cat. Here it is. Here's your carrier for it. Get ready, Mom. They'll be here in a minute. Sure enough, like ordering a pizza. That's what it ought to be. Here's all the disaster supplies you need. Here's the family members that you can satellite connect with a solar paneled phone. That's all you need. So this little bag here is all you need to go bad that you start with, and beforehand, your car gets filled up with gasoline. Holy crap. You don't have to go stand in line and then run out of gas while you're in a 300 car line and they run out of gas. No. Every single truck filled with gasoline just goes around. You pay for it here, and then supply chains manages to put it all in your pocket. And then we can get the FEMA takes over the week before. Home Depot doesn't have a generator. It goes to Lowe's. Then it gets picked up by everybody, right? So Angie's List gets volunteers. Habitat for Humanity gets volunteers. Red Cross, FEMA, before, during, and after any kind of emergency, whether it's a fire in California, a hurricane in the East Coast, or it's even floods in the Midwest. All of these things, everything, including your documentation, your IDs, all of your documentation you're going to need before, during, and after is up in the cloud, secure and safe for you. This is everybody's app in America. And then you've got a walkie-talkie that works off a satellite. If you've got emergency problems, it's an automatic, can I help you? And you can see Rescue Randy. This is the old version that we started with. I basically handed that little icon right there. Make it 3D, make it blue face, and put a yellow hat on with a Red Cross symbol and a light on top. And that's what you saw just a minute ago, speaking Spanish to you. The language is 127 languages that will sound exactly like Rescue Randy's intonation, because that's what's possible. And then you aggregate your news instead of having to change channel and watch commercials. What the hell? During a hurricane, we want to know what's hitting us right now. We need to know. Nextdoor app has said, somebody said that there's a tornado headed your way. You know about it before it gets there. And the Weather Service does too. So use AI to navigate and do everything. And afterwards, Allstate already knows that your house burned down to the ground. They've already got a hotel reserved for you because they've supply chain managed the hell out of this beforehand. So they put 6 months long, and then they've got the crews ready. So you're literally watching your house be rebuilt in real time as you're enjoying a hotel, all paid for by Allstate because you bought the insurance and you got what you paid for. That privileges every human being. Life Force, I'm not getting you started on this, but this is an aggregation of all your data in one device on your home. It's a sublayer of basically Google Home. But all of your documentation, everything that goes into you, so you've got all this chaos and fragmentation, all these apps that are disconnected from everything, all these devices. And so we made a device for you that sits on your home called Life Force that plans your meals, and then thinks about how to worry about all the things. So your medical records come in, your ancestral DNA history comes in, then all your apps come in, and then you scan your food and everything in one app, and then you schedule your food down to the recipes list. You have a weekly planner for how you're going to work out, what you're going to eat. It basically takes everything. So here is obesity. So I want to deal with that, right? So this is what I'm able to do with and here's a device that just came out that literally is measuring your longevity score. So using this app, we get to live longer, and it actually tracks that. That's part of it. So here's a device I just bought. This is a scale. You hold on to it. This is what it gave me. This is real information off of my situation. Left and right, it uses electricity going through your nervous system, through to the handheld thing, and it measures left and right resistance based on all of these different things. This is a real deal. This is a real application. And then here is your planning for all your meals, doctor's visits. Here's your weekly plan out for workout so it's health, nutrition, exercise, and mental mind. So it even helps you listen to things. Here's what you're going to be eating. Day 5, day 6. Here's what happens when you get sick. Here's what to do to hydrate before an event. Then all your devices, including your patch, which checks your fitness, your sugar levels, your Peloton, your Apple Health, your MyFitnessPal, Function Health, all these integrate together, and they privilege you at the center of your hub. It's a private large language model built on device, so it never leaves you until you're in a car crash. Your child is unconscious, and they have to do something as quickly as they can. So they have access to all of your information, so they know to heads up, hey, your son was in a car accident. He's okay. Here's his vitals. You can watch it real, and then you should go to the hospital. Meet us there in 20 minutes. We'll be there. He'll be just fine. Prognosis is great. We'll keep you updated on anything. We're aware of his type 2 diabetes. We're aware of his autism, blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's it. So if that's what I can do, imagine what you can do. And this is the whole device anchor thing. This is planning meals. And this is an advertising thing. So I've been working with the branding team at Broward College in my class called Branding, UX, UI. So we're building an app to do all this. We're integrating hardware, actually making hardware 3D printed. That'll be the best of class in each one of these types of devices for inputting information about your health. So this is our ecosystem we're starting to create. So anyway, this is my real stuff. This is what I gave to my doctor. I photographed all my medication in a photograph. This is what it did. Prescriptions and over-the-counter supplements, my patient questions that I have, and then private health analysis, what I'm worried about. Here's what I had: emergency room trip. This is my conversation with ChatGPT. Then I took these 2 pages to my doctor, and then the doctor was able to do things. Now I'm going to blow your mind again, because this is my project. This is the last thing that Manus did. Manus is just like Perplexity. This is a movie. It's a TV series. It's everything. Here we go. So what you're watching are images created in Nana Banana by Manus. It's a video created by Manus. It's a voice completely constructed by Manus. And then in 1 hour, it made this.
In a world where the future feels uncertain and the challenges seem insurmountable, a generation of children is waiting for a hero who looks like them. But they won't just find a hero. They will become the heroes. Abracadabra does not mean magic. In ancient Aramaic, it means, I create as I speak. Words do not describe reality, they create it. Meet Kavi Vak, the spoken poet, a boy from Varanasi, India, who discovers the Compendium of Unfinished Beings, a book of creatures waiting to be spoken into existence. When Kavi speaks the ancient words, the Ganges responds. The Plastifiga rises, a magnificent creature that heals the water. The first conjuring. He is not alone. This is the Abracadabra Brigade. 6 children from 6 ancient traditions across the global south and beyond. Amara, the wire weaver from Ghana. Tomoko from Japan. Samuel from Nigeria. Lucia from Colombia. Dakota from the Haudenosaunee. Children who wish for a better world and are given the agency to speak it into existence. Guided by the Parliament of Elders, they must stand against Victor Hagen, a man who believes only in extraction and control. This is more than a story. It is a movement, a franchise full of heart, soul, and power. Books, films, augmented reality, and a theme park experience where the magic is real. For the millions of underrepresented fans around the world who have never seen themselves at the center of the hero's journey, their time has come. The mythology the 21st century has been waiting for. The story has already begun.
That's me. I have a better version of this image I'm going to put in there. Look at this thing. The music, everything. That voice never existed. After, at 11 o'clock last night, I said, go. 20 minutes later, this appeared. If this isn't freaking abracadabra, I do not know what this is. And that's only the part of it. So right here, I'm going to make this full screen. This is the storyboard of each and every part of this story and the mythology that you just saw. So let me just go in here really close. And you can see these are the scenes that it created for me. Here is them practicing this. So this is when they got under attack by Hagen's group, when they find out. So this is the 15-chapter long book. This is book 1 that I wrote with Claude, because it's amazing. And it generated these images as a storyboard. Then they get Victor Hagen. I don't want to give this too much away, but they send an AI after them, basically. So they basically speak these things into existence. And so this is the storyboard of the entire story. This is the Wayback Machine. You weren't the AI Salon. There was a guy talking about a radio, a physical device created in Japan that basically is used in Alzheimer's treatment centers. And I'm not making this up, just to give you an idea of how beautiful this whole concept is. And every one of the grandchildren, these are the grandparents, all of them are suffering some form of dementia. And this device, which is real, made by an AI company, you can go look it up, is physically being made. So what it does is you tune in, not to a radio station, to a recording database that's on the internet of all the music from the time period of which you were young and you remember. So my mother remembered the 1950s and 40s. She remembered when my parents got married, 1940s. And it would tune in the recordings, the music, the news of the day, and you're listening to old-timey radio. It looked like an old-timey radio. And you dial it in and it would just play for you. And you'd listen to, as she did, Nat King Cole over and over again. I forget which gospel group. There were 3 gospel groups she listened to. Every morning she'd wake up in the morning, and by sundown, of course, she would forget them. But this is a Wayback Machine. So they start with trying to, as they mistakenly do. So each one of these kids are from a different country. And this is the storyboard. So he creates an animal. He manifests from Sanskrit, which is the original idea from India and from Sanskrit, was that a goddess spoke words and imagined the world into existence. That's the word abracadabra. That's what the whole thesis of this is. So his grandfather was a scholar of Sanskrit. So he's able to cure his Alzheimer's and realizes he hands him this book. So there's where he lives. That's the Ganges River. There's the evil person. So these are the character profiles. The head of each one of the 5 clans from around the world. This is the chief of the Haudenosaunee tribe, which is who invented the idea of thinking 7 generations in the future before you make any decisions. You're born of responsibility. This is one of the major tenets that ancient civilizations got right that we have been getting wrong again and again. And then here's the man from Japan, Kamadodo, is their religion. Ikigai and Kintsugi are part of their philosophies. This is the Ubuntu from the Congo area. The Ubuntu, I because of we. All of these philosophies are philosophies that are core, and from the 5 corners of the earth, they come together. And they come up, and this is his grandfather, who has these yellow eyes that are magical. And then this is his sister, who he reads the book at the beginning. I think I can, I think I can. From a rescued copy from a trash dump, from the imperialization of British peoples into India to bring their English language to empower them to become the next superpower of the world. That's another whole story. So all of this comes from, this is Dakota, the grandson of that Haudenosaunee, 7 generations thinking, etc. And so each corner of the world has something that they have to give to the world. And these children are the ones that need to teach us how to manifest and imagine a world. And then this is the beautiful soul, Kavevaka, which means what? It means speaking poet. So he is the vibe coder that took his broken phone and this book and manifested these creatures. And that's where the story begins. So he points at it and realizes that the language, which 1968, a NASA scientist started studying large language models and said, there's a disconnect. If you try to speak English to it, there's a translation where, as you know from English language, if anybody's ever tried to learn it, it's extremely difficult to learn. Why is it difficult to learn? Because it doesn't match, and it has so many rules that are broken. They're that, all those words that just have so many different meanings. Sanskrit was written with 3,078 different succinct definitions of words, so there is no misinterpretation. Even words for satire and for comedy, things like that, that in a text emoji don't come across. So it is the language that was written long ago that is what large language models speak today. We just haven't learned how to speak it. So we had to build an interpreter, like we were building an interpreter for the animals. And so when he points his phone at it and he manifests it, it turns into code. He created a large language model called Kadabra, which takes and manifests and transmutes the written page into an actual animal, eats all the plastic and the garbage that's in the ocean. So this is the core of the book. So there he gets it, he opens the book, and he teaches them, as they each have a copy of this book, their grandfathers give to them as they're about to pass from this earth. And then these animals are transformed biologically to do certain things. She is the expert on creating information bots, social media controlling viruses, basically, that manifest themselves as sort of lions in disconnecting people who are trying to take from the economy and giving it spirit. In Japan, she's trying to solve the Fukushima disaster. So she creates an organism that will go and detect the radiation in the soil that the government lied about and then make a bot to go in there and fix it. So there's 4 different kinds of bots that are either electronic, social, or physical, or biological. And those are the things. So Colombia is full of poisoned earth. So she cures the earth and takes the cocaine poison, the other things that have poisoned the earth, and the things that were slashed and burned, and reinvests and creates a more healthy environment that takes care of itself, etc. And then when they all get cured of Alzheimer's by their grandchildren, they realize that they had gathered together in 1968. They are the council that the United Nations brought together of all the ancient belief systems to come together and to create an Esperanto of how to navigate the world going future. They met, and throughout the centuries, since the beginning of time, every 7 generations they meet and come to a council. So these children are the ancestors of a 100,000-year tradition since the beginning of language that's been handed down, the magical powers of Sanskrit and all the other languages brought together in council to come up with one language to rule them all. And this is the year. And the reason why every 7 generations is because every 10 generations, empires fall. If you look at the Roman, 250 years. Look at the British, 250 years. Look at America, 250 years this July 4th. It's time for the council to have gathered, and they have. And that council is we, you and I, making a difference by counting the number of fish there are and finding out how do we change our behaviors to accommodate the fish that are trying to go through a dock system that someone already has brought into being. Imagine a world, and that is the name of my company, Imagine a World Productions, LLC, and is also the name of my foundation that I leave all my money to, so that I can help land the planes by just inspiring generations of children to think that they can't, to know that they can change the world by speaking it into existence. So abracadabra is not just me. It is a world of people that imagine that by reading and by thinking and by doing and by finding a way that you could speak into existence through the ancients' knowledge of what they always knew, is that we have to have continuity. We have to be more human. We have to get back to, and what was he doing? He was solving the problem of his backyard that he didn't have drinking water. And you know what this animal does? This amazing phasmagoria is it eats plastic and it poops out protein and food fish. So now the entire Ganges River, and so I won't tell you too much because there's a lot more to this than that. All of this wisdom comes together, and then it's manifested through these children who then go out and cause actions until we get Victor, petrochemical guy, war machine monger. He is the evil of all human beings, the extraction economy personified. And there he is. So now we know what he looks like. And this is what he's been doing bad for things. And what are they doing? Fixing it. And what are they doing? It giving away as a gift to the planet. So these are still framed for what will be a movie. And I will be making that movie and rendering the videos right here, the same way you saw. So everybody pulls off the shelf this book. And then look what happens. In Fukushima, Medellin, Lagos, Varanasi, Accra, and Akwesasne. All of those locations are where these children come from. This is our future. This is the Abracadabra Brigade. And this is what I've made in just a few moments of my time. As short as it is, there's only one thing in the world that absolutely has always existed: love, unconditionally given, born of responsibility to cure and to help other people make beautiful lives for themselves. Being responsible for being a better version of yourself every day. When you wrong someone, your job is to make it better. Put back the gold in your kintsugi cup that you damaged. You broke their cup that holds their still water, that holds their life force, that holds their star dust turning into starlight. When you fix it, their light burns. When you break it, you leak it out and you cannot drink. Humans cannot survive on an extractive economy. We figured out a way to weaponize against people. Now let's weaponize as a force for good and do some good in the world. So that's the promise, is that we start with the 5, and then they appear before the United Nations, and they offer this as a gift to all people. And that dream of making into reality the solutions for all the problems in the world becomes a reality. It becomes a TV show. And I can imagine what that looks like as a TV show. And I can actually make it a TV show, episodic in nature, and a comic book told in this way. And I did this in basically 30 hours, I would guess, and 66 years of living and wanting to do this. Imagine a world where a grandfather meets with the grandson, and he solves not only the Alzheimer's that clouds his brain, but the hope and the dream that 7 generations past his death, they will remember him for what he added to the world, as all starlight is an additive process, not an extraction. And it turns into a video game. It turns into inspiration. It turns into classes and learning how to use Sanskrit and decode it could be a board game and a coffee mug and a book. And I imagine all of these things right now. I want it to be a PlayStation game that poor kids can play for free. That's an educational platform that opens up. Let's learn about the world and how we can affect it for the positive. And maybe it is, in every dark area of the world, surrounded as a marketplace in these locations of ancient history, it becomes a historical visitation, a rite of passage to go to the place where holiness started, to the garden that we plant. Imagine how beautiful that would be to see these animals eating the plastic. And imagine having the experience of this and what it would do for patients of Alzheimer's. Imagine what it would look like on your phone as a music background. Imagine, as Rick McCauley did, and I do have the latest version of that done with my pictures in it, which I also vibe coded into existence. And so that's what it is. I pass the book on to you, the book of knowledge, the book of love. And that's what you saw. So what it created is from these still images, which it also created by me just saying I wanted it. So yeah, that's a lot enough. Okay, let's check in. Let's see where we are.
Oh.
Man, I don't know. I'm just so happy to be alive right now. That's it. I just feel so privileged to live in a time where my childhood dreams and my adult ambitions meet each other. Where the beautiful world that you'll be raising your children into and mine into could be perhaps touched by each one of us who just decide to say abracadabra in our own unique ikigai way. You, Brandon, are a gift to the world, my son, my friend, and everyone who's watched us tonight. I hope you feel moved. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you go see the movie about the impossible. And I hope you get to see the movie Abracadabra Brigade. And the one thing I will leave all my money to do is to make sure that you do. For all the impossible dreamers out there, here's one more for you. And I think it's valuable. And it's my gift. Namaste. To the God that lives in each and every one of you, may it flourish with bright light for others in service to the world. Every day you make yourself a better version of yourself so that tomorrow you can be the hero that 7 generations from now will speak your name. Abracadabra.